On the island of Lemnos, Jason and the Argonauts stayed for 2 years, delaying their quest for the Golden Fleece. Tim Severin's modern crew, following the Greek hero's route in search of the grains of truth within the legend, are allowed only 2 days on Lemnos. Today they sail on into Turkish waters. So far, they've proved that a galley modelled on Jason's ship can be rowed with some effort and sailed with a fair wind. What nobody knows is whether the Jason story has got sufficient basis in fact to justify this attempt to travel 1,500 miles from Greece to Georgia in an open rowing boat of the late Bronze Age.
2 Greek stamps. Anybody got some postcards to send? This is our last opportunity. Anybody got postcards? Mr. Tim?
No.
Cookie Monster?
Forward. Port, tack, forward. Very lightly
Argo is sailing short-handed. The Greeks in her crew haven't yet been replaced by Turkish volunteers.
No, that's the apricot juice. Oh, it tastes all right.
Can you put a drop in that cup? It's like rum.
I don't know if you should, Miles. You're rowing.
I'm trying to be rolling.
A Turkish patrol boat watches them. This is a sensitive military zone.
I'm not rowing.
3 weeks into the voyage, they're approaching the Dardanelles, that strip of water between Europe and Asia once called the Hellespont, after Princess Helle, who fell from the back of the magic golden ram as she fled towards Colchis. "3,000 years ago, the Trojans guarded this strait and kept foreign vessels out of the rich trading grounds beyond. Greeks, hungry for metals, would try to slip through against the powerful current. The approach hasn't been easy, hard rowing against strong countercurrents. The writer Apollonius tells us that Jason got a fair wind towards the Hellespont.
The wind is coming further and further round into the south, and it's almost west of south at the moment, which is superb for going up the Dardanelles through the main strait. So it's a question of trying not to waste this wind.
In the event, Tim Severin got as fair a wind as Jason. Argo has arrived triumphantly at the southern end of the strait to meet a deputation of Turkish customs.
Set's gone in.
Keep your legs.
The anchor's still on the anchor's set. Down.
Right, can I have your passports, please?
Passing through customs control.
Morale at the moment is high. The crew, swimming to their first Asian shore, have begun to learn what an open boat can do, what they can do, and the things they can't hope to do without some help from the wind. Turkish customs formalities are friendly enough.
Beer. Beer.
First time on land for 3 days.
I bet the doctor will say something like drinking cold beer after
First time
exhausting swimming.
Yeah, you said it. Makes me unbalanced.
The ground is moving.
Where's the nearest hotel?
No, everybody stay on board.
Everybody on board?
Yeah, everybody.
Thank you.
It's very hot.
How's that song go? Bestiality's
Best boys, bestiality's best.
Bestiality's
That's a fireman, he's wearing shorts.
Fit as the men are, they've still painfully learned their limitations.
With the size of the crew, in still conditions, with the size of the crew we had today, we couldn't possibly have rowed up against what was out there now.
We're going 2 knots.
You cannot
two
row
knots
against
with 10 oars in still conditions.
And 3 knots if
And
you
this
push
3
it.
knots at the start.
That water's going. We managed to do 4 knots.
But
Basically, you cannot row against the
speed.
wind at all. Basically, it's a sailing vessel, and you can only row it out of port, and that's it. And then you just sail the rest of the way. If there's no wind, you shouldn't really go out, really.
To get the extra knot, if you want to get 3.5 knots, it takes twice as much energy as it has to get 2.5 knots out of it.
When the going gets tough, we just start the diesel motor anyhow.
Okay, Argonauts, attention. This is Ali Ugan, who's going to be joining us. Our own Turkish archaeologist.
My name is John Ugan. My name is Ali Ugan. Ali Ugan. Nice to see you.
And will you be with us all the time, or are you going back?
Up to Hopa.
You must help me learn some Turkish.
Ah, yes. Şimdi boğazı şurada bitirmiş oluyorlar.
Öyle mi? Orada
Zincir bozan feneri, evet. Buradan sonra artık açık.
That's the last point, yeah.
Yes.
It is about 8 miles.
2 knots against the current, yeah.
We're doing 5 knots coming in here.
The new Argonauts need not have worried about the Dardanelles. As Jason's luck held, so did theirs. Within hours, the Argo, in the words of Apollonius, swam up the darkly swirling Hellespont with a fair wind. A new sea has been won. This is Gallipoli, where the waters ran red with the blood of soldiers in the First World War. 3,000 years earlier, the Hellespont saw the Trojan Wars take other young lives. Jason, a Greek intruder into Trojan waters, would have crept through here by night into the Sea of Marmara. Every day, the ship Argo teaches the modern crew more about Bronze Age sailing and ship design. They built her to look like the old pictures, and now the pictures have come to life.
We've got the snout on there working really well now. Because that was
The first time
the
I've
big
seen it right, isn't
controversy.
it?
Because all the ancient drawings show pictures of like a boar's snout on them, and nobody understand why it was, and we found that you need something to grip on with a hand. And this footstep here is working really well as well. Look at that. Magic.
The first time I've really seen it now,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's plunging very well. And the other thing is, of course, this is the focal point of attention when we're at sea for quite a few days, because this is where all the mean business goes on at the end of the day. I mean, there are actually bits of pottery and things like that that show people using the ram for its lavatorial purpose.
On the Capadar Peninsula, Jason landed to be met by the envoys of King Cyzicus of the Doliones people, a noble race descended from the sea god Poseidon. Here, on the beach, the young noblemen built together an altar to Apollo, god of happy landings. And the Argonauts left their small anchor stone at a spring above the town. Today, the main town on Capadar is Erdek, called in the ancient world Artasi. A civic welcome is prepared on a lavish scale. Everywhere she goes, Argo is an event.
Easy! Let's clear the water! Thank you very much, indeed. Very good. Nice to meet you. How do you do? Can be introduced to the VIPs. This is the Governor. This is Nick Hollis. This is Captain of the Naval Base and the Mayor, Tim Redmond.
As archaeological expeditions go, Argo's voyage is providing an excuse for a remarkable number of street parties. Welcoming Greek folk dances on harbour walls have given way to Turkish ones, which in turn, as the ship sails from welcome to welcome, will be replaced by Georgian dances in the ancient home of the Golden Fleece. But here, close to the ruined city of Cyzicus, in a place which once was Greek, the name of Argo is a particularly honoured one. She's still almost a local ship. King Cyzicus gave Jason sheep and wine and a great banquet. Tonight another feast is laid out. Tim Severin talks local history, the crew evaluate the local
Do you
wine.
make any more pictures of the very old ruins?
No, Troy, just Troy, yeah.
Then I think here maybe you like it. You may like to see this one.
This one on the cup, where the cave was.
That was 300 or 400 years before as well. Yeah.
Sure. When he went to look for his boyfriend, he got lost a little bit.
Jason poured libations all over the water.
He got lost in the
You married?
The Greeks who lived here moved out in the 1920s during a population exchange with the Turks. Tradition is confused by such political movements, but by a curious stroke of luck at the start of the voyage, while the ship was being built, Tim Severin had picked up a clue to the spot where the Argonauts were supposed to have left their smaller anchor stone as a gesture of thanksgiving. Now the former governor and historian of Kapudar, Reşit Ertezun, may be able to confirm the story.
Can you explain that when we were coming with Argo, in Greece, by an extraordinary coincidence, I met an old man who was born here in Erdek in 1893 and lived here until 1922. And he told me that when the Greeks were living here, there was a spring they called Jason's Spring. And I would recognize it by a large tree, a platan tree, which was by the spring.
Lava. Yes, he knows.
He knows
Büyük bir
about
çınar
that.
ağacı var.
He knows the tree.
Çok yaşlı bir ağaç.
It's a very old tree and it is still there.
Yeah.
Demin söylediğim gibi bu benim için çok enteresan. Çünkü benim inancıma göre de Argonotların taş çıpalarının bıraktığı çeşme Palata Çeşmesi olması lazım gelir. İsterseniz bu kısmını söyleyin de.
It's very interesting for me as well because according to me, I was thinking that this spring was the spring of Yason, where Argonauts left their anchor stone there.
The spring lies half a mile from Erdek. Now, as in the ancient world, it's a meeting place and a valuable source of clean water. Further up the hill is another magic place, a grove of venerable trees left untouched in the middle of cultivated land. One tree is a wishing tree. People still come and circle the trunk 3 times. Then they crawl through the hole in the tree to make a wish. And they leave tokens, strips of torn clothing or small images among the branches. This particular tree is used by childless couples to wish for babies.
Can he explain which mountain on the peninsula he believes is Mount Didymon?
Bu harita üzerinde Dede Bayırı olarak işaretlenen yer Dindym'in tepesidir.
This is the called Dede Bayır on this map. Is Dindymon Mountain.
Yes. From this mountain, can you see, as the Argonaut story says, you can see towards the Bosphorus, back towards Dardanelles, and over to Thrace, because this is what, when the Argonauts climbed the mountain, they could look in the 3 directions.
Sure.
Aynı şeyi görüyoruz.
Sure, you can see.
The hunters are very rare.
The writer Apollonius says that the Argonauts climbed towards the top of Mount Dindymon in the hope of seeing for themselves the waters they would have to cross, all the way to the Bosphorus and beyond. Working without compasses or charts, early sailors set great store by landmarks and overviews. Tim Severin, also making this voyage without a compass, is convinced that this is Mount Dindymon and that it will give him his view. Reshit and the local hosts are anxious to confirm the trail of clues, especially after a 3-hour climb.
Gene en iyi görünebilecek yer
This
burası
is the
görünüyor
best
bana.
place to see the tree.
Kaldı ki zaten çıkarsanız güle güle kardeşim.
I may try it.
When was the last time he came up here?
He didn't come here. He's coming first time.
This is the first time he's come to this
time.
point. Ah, très bien. This, he said, is the only point at which you can see in the 3 directions, towards the Bosphorus, towards the Thracian shore, which is northward, and the way they had come. Unfortunately today, with the visibility being so thick, so poor, we can't see very much further. We can just see the line of the coast that we followed as we came in. And that obviously is way towards Marmara Island and to the north. And presumably if we just go up there, we can see towards the Bosphorus.
Jason's first shore party never saw this view. They were ambushed by wild men and prevented from getting an understanding of the shape of the peninsula. This led to tragedy. What happened was this. When they set sail again, a gale blew them back and they sheltered on the far side of the peninsula. The Argonauts thought they'd landed on a new island and threw their hawser around a rock called the Sacred Rock. The local tribe, the friendly Doliones, were alarmed, thinking it was a night raiding party. The 2 groups began to fight confusedly in the darkness. and Jason killed King Cyzicus, his host of the night before. Reshet-Ertezun is convinced that he has found the actual sacred rock around which Jason cast his hawser in the storm. The new Argonauts, a few hours later, are convinced that they have found the actual storm. Tim Severin's Argo, after a nasty time trying to get round the headland, is, like its predecessor, sheltering thankfully in a new cove.
President, how long will this storm last?
I think about 3 days.
3 days.
I looked in my book. It shows that there's a storm about 3 days.
This happens every year?
Yes.
A storm like this?
Yes, regularly.
Yeah.
3rd of June.
June, yeah. I see, yeah.
I think it's early one day.
I see, yeah.
For this year.
So learn today earlier.
Yes.
And we get thunderstorms again tonight?
I hope.
You hope?
No, I don't know, but I think so. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
The story of the massacre of the Doliones seems too odd and circumstantial to be just a myth. There are 2 coves, lying either side of the Kapodar Peninsula. Without a compass or a chart, you might easily think yourself on a new island altogether. And it was a troubled age of tribal wars. Night raiding parties were common enough for any unexpected landing to turn into a battle. When dawn came, says Apollonius, it taught both sides their grievous and irreparable mistake. The king's new bride, Clytie, hanged herself. The nymphs cried so many tears that they formed a stream, Clytie's stream, which still runs through the ruins of the city of Cyzicus. For 12 days there were gales, and then a halcyon bird, a kingfisher, came to tell Jason that the foul weather was passing. He made an offering to the goddess Rhea, and, we're told, the young men in full armour moved round in a high-stepping dance, beating their shields with their swords to drown the ill-omened cries of mourning from the city. The men of the region still do such a dance. Jason's crew left at dawn and drove the ship, we're told, so fast that not even Poseidon's horses with whirlwind feet could have overtaken her. Tim Severin's crew take it a bit more steadily. They have to row through several nights to reach the Bosphorus on schedule. A lot of them have got jobs to get home to.
Row on board side. Ship.
Thanks to a passing patrol boat, a ration of 20th century news is able to reach them.
Quite a lot of papers dating quite a long way back.
Ah, Erzin, you are apparently some sort of a national figure now. So, about 5 days worth of newspapers. Next relief boat ready.
Erzin, a Turkish volunteer, is indeed a national figure. He's a supertanker captain, taking this unlikely busman's holiday as a galley oarsman, and his ship has just become a victim of the Gulf War. 3 of his crew are dead and others injured.
Engineering officer, yeah. We know that, we learned that they are killed. Electrician and the oiler. Yeah.
After the gales come the enervating calms. The legendary kingdom of Colchis is still 900 miles ahead. They're not halfway there, and counting every oar stroke. They live for each change of watch, tend their blisters, and rest uncomfortably on the benches.
So very misty.
Right, we'll shortly be approaching the 100,000 strokes since we left Volos. That was 1 calendar month ago, which is pretty good going, chaps. I'm proud of you all.
Hooray!
And that's it, we're down to 10 strokes left.
10 strokes.
9!
8, to count them together.
12! 7! 6! 5! 4! 3!
Easy!
2! 3! 99! That's the one! 100,000! We can still make 200,000 if you row around that island a few times this evening.
Turkish.
Sirke.
Care.
Sirke.
Care.
And you know what rosé is?
What?
Rosé wine.
Is it rosé?
Temper.
Oh, Embe.
Yes.
Suman.
Somun. That is loaf of bread.
Ah, suman ekmek.
Somun.
Sumun ekmek.
It was around this point on Jason's voyage that they lost Hercules. He snapped his oar and fell off the rowing bench. While he was off, pulling down a pine tree to make another oar, his squire Hylas wandered off and was drowned by an amorous nymph. While Hercules searched the coast for him, the Argo sailed on without them. Outside Istanbul, a change from folk dancing. A Turkish paper has told Tim Severin to put forward a champion to fight Cevat the Flea, the best heavyweight oil wrestler in Turkey. Jonathan Cloak is the newest and the tallest and has duly been volunteered. His skipper has assured him that Cevat has a kindly face.
İngiltere'den buraya kadar gelmiş. bugün güreşten atacak olan Can Kulok.
It's all there in the legend. Amycus, the bullying king of the Bebryces, challenged the Argonauts to a boxing match. Pollux took him on and killed him with a mighty blow. So the rest of the Argonauts had another battle on their hands, fighting off the enraged subjects of King Amycus. Jonathan Cloak is unlikely to spark off any international incidents. He has relatively little experience of wrestling in olive oil.
Well, it's been a great experience. I hope I don't meet you again.
Congratulations. It's on a reknot. There we go. Well done.
Do you like rowing? I could do it. A man like you on the boat.
Tell him he must come and row with me.
Turgut Kılıç madalyasını İngiliz konağı veriyor. Kendisini tebrik ediyoruz. Hepinizi kürsüye çıkarız arkadaşlar.
Thank you very much.
Çeksin arkadaşlar. Evet, tamam.
Istanbul is a busy modern port and the gateway to the most difficult part of the voyage, the Bosphorus. It's always been a crossroads of trade between Europe and Asia. For the Argonauts, it represents mainly a heaven-sent chance to clean themselves up.
I think I'm changing colour.
Okay, Pete, last chance to change your mind?
Never. This is the first time that I ever had a beard, or ever...
You're going to look a good 15 years younger when that comes in. Those chins.
You got a baby face there.
Brenda, I want to look as handsome as mine. Oh, what a handsome man.
Yeah, very good. Good, very good. Thank you. Artist? Yeah. Artist. Alendero? Yeah.
Ah, yeah, that's great. Well, it's a bit different than 2 hours ago, really, isn't it?
You went dancing tonight, Pete?
Oh, you never know what I get up to, you know what I mean?
As an unprecedented treat and a gesture of goodwill, a hotel has given them all free bedrooms.
We are from the Argo group. We have rowed and sailed all the way from Greece.
I know. Now you're celebrating that.
We're celebrating that. So are you working
Now,
tonight?
are you single or are you
You can't come to our party.
I would love to.
This is the triple.
Okay, that's the triple. Okay. That's for your room. That's the card. Run it in one. Okay?
Right. You've got a note of that, all right, have you?
Excuse me?
You have a note of that, okay?
Yes.
Good.
So.
For when you...
Now. Okay.
This is where we plan our mutiny. What do you think about the mutiny? I think we shouldn't leave Istanbul at this point. If Jason had found a Sheraton hotel, he probably would have stayed. Here we go.
After hard benches, 5-star beds.
There are 9-inch planks. Oh, that's my bed. You're going into the Sheraton.
It's also a bit long now. I think this should suit me quite well. I think we'll probably accommodate 2 or 3 people on this bench and sleep very well. As long as I don't have the ropes creaking at night, we should be okay.
Very uncomfortable.
Well, this is luxury.
This is a luxury. This is a double bench.
Yes, superb. I
All
shall sleep
right,
very
you
well.
are with this now.
We're with Argo.
All right, now.
Thank you very much.
Refreshment for the spirit too. San Sofia, whose doors are said to come from Noah's Ark.
Yes, this is St. Sophia, and it is one of the oldest monuments exist in the world.
Feathers of a bird, is it?
No, these are eagles, the symbol of Christianity. You must remember always that it was a church, Hagia Sophia.
repairs would not be out of place. The Bosphorus lies before them. Tim Severin calls it the choke point. 18 miles of water funneling out of the Black Sea with a current so powerful and erratic that modern cargo ships have been wrecked in it. Critics of this voyage say that this is the unlikeliest, craziest aspect. The belief that a small Bronze Age galley could have been rowed up the strait and gained the Russian coast. Even if Jason did do it, the Bosphorus of the 1980s has an added danger. Ordinary river traffic is fast and heavy and impatient, and not remotely interested in the fate of a quirky little wooden rowing boat trying to experiment with the past. Istanbul has been a little holiday, soft beds and hard drinks. It's set them up for the make or break point, the morning's attempt to prove the scholars wrong and beat the Bosphorus.
You went up in the car today and you said there's some strong countercurrents.
Yeah.
In our favour? Yeah. That sounds quite encouraging.
For about 400 yards.
Whereabouts is that? 400 yards?
No, it's probably done. Where was that? We saw a tremendous, we saw quite a back eddy, didn't we? Where was that? Just beyond the shipyard. Yeah.
You try and cut in the corner to find yourself going backwards very rapidly.
No, you can't cut the corner.
And also,
the just dashes around.
Yeah, if you approach at the wrong angle, you actually get swept out into the middle of the stream, I would think, right into the middle, and then you're stuck.
Even those currents going up.
Quite fast.
Well, easily faster than we can go.
Yeah. We're getting out after those breakwaters and the moles, using countercurrents in that bay, we hope, and then coming right across almost up to this hotel. And then we're hugging this bank, using this bay where there's very little current against us, until we get, I think it's a headland just after the bridge. Yeah. And no, we stay on this side until all the way to the top. Yeah.
We keep the side under the bridge then.
Yeah.
Another thing is once the ferries come out from either side, they really start moving fast. They're liable to just shoot straight out in front of you without taking any notice of where you are or what you're doing. And that in something like the Argo could be very dangerous indeed.
They're just taking a lot of water to sink a scholar.
Tomorrow may be the last day of the voyage, or the best. Nothing is left but to drink to it, to the improbable enterprise.
And tomorrow's part of the voyage can be seen here on 2 just after 3 o'clock.